Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn French. Today the Treaty of Amiens, Article 3. And after we've done it, we're going to do wrist training. And if you participate in wrist training, it's the own risk. The Treaty of Amiens was signed in 1802, mainly between Britain and France. And that in the period of around 30 years of war in Europe, where peace came into Europe for 1 year when the war was continued. But in the peace treaty, it was basically said that France evacuates Egypt and Naples, and therefore Britain recognizes the French Republic as the new French state after the French Revolution and the abolishment of the monarchy. Nobody believes so much. It was a peace treaty signed in 1802 between Britain and France mainly, and it made for 1 year peace in Europe for 1 year, and the war continued. And we're reading what is in it. No, Article 3. We're having it in English and in French, which is just a text, so we don't know how it's pronounced. We just have the text, the French part. Article 3. Sa Majesté britannique restitue à la République française et à ses alliés. His Britannic Majesty restores to the French Republic and its allies. And yes, this is about a war and also maybe imprisonment and so on. So maybe it's a bit more. His Britannic Majesty restores to the French Republic and its allies. Sa Majesté britannique restitue à la République française et à ses alliés and its allies. Vice His Catholic Majesty and the Batavian Republic. Savoir à Sa Majesté catholique et à la République batave toutes les possessions et colonies qui leur appartiennent respectivement, all the possessions and colonies which respectively belong to them, all the possessions and colonies which respectively belong to them, toutes les possessions et colonies qui leur appartiennent respectivement, et qui ont été occupées ou conquises par les forces britanniques dans le cours de la guerre, and which have been either occupied or conquered by the British forces, et qui ont été occupées ou conquises par les forces britanniques dans le cours de la guerre. Okay. During the course of the present war, dans le cours de la guerre, and the forward part, occupées ou conquises. Occupied or conquered. Ou means all. Occupées ou conquises. OU is all. Occupé ou conquise par les forces britanniques dans le cours de la guerre. Occupied or conquered by the British forces during the course of the present war, à la exception des lits de la Trinité et des possessions hollandaises dans l'île de Ceylon. Okay, that is an important part. This is French. In history, we have that part that Britain retains Ceylon, which is today's Sri Lanka, and Trinidad. Trinidad is one of the West Indies in the Caribbean island, and Ceylon, or Sri Lanka, that is south of the Indian continent, or south of the Indian mainland. Now, and we didn't really understand the word retain, because the problem is, why retained? So that means, retain, we looked it up in etymology, seems to mean to keep it, but the Latin syllable re means to get it back. Now we're having a part where it's actually explained what happens. With the exception of the island of Trinidad and of the Dutch possessions on the island of Ceylon. Now we understand what is meant with retained. His Britannic Majesty restores to the French Republic and its allies, viz. His Catholic Majesty and the Batavian Republic, all the possessions and colonies which respectively belong to them, and which have been either occupied or conquered by the British forces during the course of the present war, with the exceptions of the island of Trinidad and of the Dutch possessions on the island of Ceylon. So that means that Britain has to give back to the French Republic all which we had conquered during this war, during the previous wars, but not with the exception of Trinidad and Ceylon, the Dutch possessions on the island of Ceylon. So retained means in this context then that they can keep it. And they didn't have it previously. At least not as it is written here. They just had it and they keep it. They don't get it back. They keep it. Sa Majesté Britannique restitue à la République franquée et à ses alliés, savoir à Sa Majesté catholique et de la République batave, toutes les possessions et colonies qui leur appartiennent respectivement et qui ont été occupées ou conquises par les forces britanniques dans le cours de la guerre, à l'exception de l'île de la Trinité et des possessions hollandaises dans l'île de Ceylan. Okay, one more time, Bob. His Britannic Majesty restores to the French Republic and its allies, viz. His Catholic Majesty and the Batavian Republic, all the possessions and colonies which respectively belong to them, and which have been either occupied or conquered by the British forces during the course of the present war, with the exceptions of the islands of Trinidad and of the Dutch possessions on the island of Ceylon. Sa Majesté Britannique restitue à la République franquée et à ses alliés, savoir à Sa Majesté catholique et de la République batave, toutes les possessions et colonies qui leur appartiennent respectivement et qui ont été occupées ou conquises par les forces britanniques dans le cours de la guerre, à l'exception de l'île de la Trinité et des possessions hollandaises dans l'île de Ceylan. Now, that was French. If you were just here for French, well, you can go directly to the next video. We will do now the wrist training. If you participate in the wrist training, this is the risk. Good is still stand. Hands from the fist next to us. And we're doing the spotlight. We're bringing the fists down. And up. Again down. And up. Down. And up. And now we're doing the flashlight. Fists like that to an extra center and not to the inside. To the outside. Again to the inside. To the outside. Last time to the inside. And we're doing the magician flat hands and them to the inside and to the outside. We're having 3 rules. The first rule is that we're stopping immediately as soon as there's pain. The second rule is that we're going only as fast as we can go with a little bit of effort. And the third rule is that we're not overdoing it. We're just not to strengthen, not to exhaust. That was the last time. And now we're doing the pancake flat hands and open them. Close. And the last time. And close. And now we're doing the T-Rex in the morning. Long arms out. And the flat hands down. And up. Again down. And up. Again down. Now we're doing the T-Rex again, Richard. I'm using a tennis ball. I don't want to use a tennis ball, don't have one, don't care, use one. Just do it without one, just make a strong fist. Over here, press onto the tennis ball. And release again, and press onto the tennis ball. Release, and press again. Out to the other side. Press again. Release, and press again. Now the cautious big bang place with fingertips of one hand on top of the fingernails of the other hand. Press a bit out slowly. close again slowly. Open again, and close again. Did I announce wrist training? Because I just saw we're doing ECU training, but I think I announced wrist training and we're doing wrist training. And now the next exercise, we're making a 4 days in your century as director. Fists and open them and close them. And open, close, open, close. If you want to take a break while this exercise, you can do it at any moment. Next exercise, flat hands and bring them down and have flat fingers. And again up with strong fists. Down with flat fingers. And up with strong fists. Again down. And up. And that was the last time. Now for bicycle bridge. Flat hands and bend them into knuckles. Again open and bend them into knuckles. Open and last drop. Bend at the knuckles. Now close the claw. Flat hands and make claws. And open again and make again claws. And last time. And we're doing the ice axe. Flat hand, bend it at the knuckles, and press on all 4 fingers. And up again. And the other hand, bend all 4 and press on all 4. And doing the quadrangular castle architect. Both hands with fists out and bring these fists to the inside. Now up. To the outside. Down. And to the inside. And again down. To the outside. Up. And to the inside. Next exercise with cramp anxious with fever. Fist next to us, hands from 2 fists and bring it down and press a bit from the outside against it. And pull it from the outside. Press a bit from the top. The other hand, fist down and press it against it. Pull from the outside. And from the top. And from the bottom. And now we're doing an exercise. You can skip it if you want to take a break. Arms in, strong fists, and bring these strong fists into flexion. And out of long arms into extension with flat fingers. Again, in, strong fists, flexion. And out extension, flat fingers. Again, in, strong fists, flexion. And the last round out, extension, flat fingers. And the last exercise, we unfold in rocket boosters. Legs more and shoulder wide apart a bit more. Long arms, strong fists, and bring these strong fists into flexion, to the inside. And now to the outside, to extension of flat fingers. Again to the inside, strong fists, flexion. To the outside, extension of flat fingers. Again, inside, strong fists, flexion. And to the outside. And the last round to the inside, flexion. Outside extension. Anyway. Now, a bit relaxation for the extension of the digitoral muscle. We used it quite a lot. We're going with moderate pressure over the middle part of the lower arm. And on the other side. And that was wrist training. I think very much, and until next time.